Supreme Court of the United States has announced it will take up a major abortion rights case, which is widely seen as a direct challenge to one of the central holdings of Roe v. Wade. This case will be the first direct test of the court's conservative majority on the abortion issue. The justices will hear arguments on the Mississippi law, which does ban all abortions after 15 weeks, with exceptions when it comes to medical emergencies or severe fetal abnormalities, as determined by the government of Mississippi. The law was struck down by a lower court, that ruling affirmed by an appeals court, but the Supreme Court could overturn all that and take another look at Roe v. Wade. Anti-abortion activists and groups like March for Life have praised the ban. Its president saying in a statement, states should be allowed to craft laws that are in line with both public opinion on this issue as well as basic human compassion, instead of the extreme policy that Roe imposed. So I want to bring in the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood, Alexis McGill-Johnson, for more on this. Alexis, thank you for being with us. It's a big day in this area. What is your basic reaction to the Supreme Court taking up this challenge to one of the central holdings of Roe in the state of Mississippi?
Well, look, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is absolutely a challenge that goes straight to the heart of Roe, and in doing so, threatens to overturn 50 years of precedent that, indicates that a patient makes the decision around whether or not to terminate a pregnancy pre-viability. And so, it is alarming. It is shocking that this is the central holding and issue that they took up. And, to the folks who say that public opinion does not support Roe, I point them to the fact that actually the majority of Americans believe that Roe should be the law of the land, that access to abortion should be reasonable. And in fact, there is no state in the union that does not support access to abortion. So public opinion is certainly on the side of protecting Roe and making sure that this very unconstitutional ban gets struck down.
If I can just follow up on that, the ABC News poll for decades has shown about 55, now I think 59% of Americans do support Roe. But there is that sizable minority, and often in a democracy, you're going to get some kind of consensus or compromise around things. That's essentially what we're looking at. Actually, the recent ABC News Post poll, 62% uphold Roe versus Wade. What about the argument that the other side makes, that the conversation is broader than just yay or nay, as people look at specific issues, gender selection, abortion, or abortion of children with Down syndrome, or those kinds of things? Should there be a broader discussion than just uphold Roe or modify it?
I think they're the ones who are pushing the binary, right? We can see in all of these challenges and all the nearly 500 restrictions that have been introduced in state legislatures in the last 100 days, those are the challenges that have been intended to actually end abortion, right? This isn't about trying to find ways around supporting abortion in certain limits. You can see all of these are really focused on, with a laser focus, knowing that the courts have been remade under the Trump administration and Mitch McConnell, including the Supreme Court, that all of these legislations, and including this Mississippi ban, have been directly designed to go to the Supreme Court to gut Roe. We should be really clear. This is about our freedom. This isn't about restrictions around the margins.
Yeah, let me ask you, what would this law do to the lives of women in Mississippi were the Supreme Court to uphold it, banning abortions after 15 weeks, except in rare circumstances? What would that do for women?
Look, it is certainly about the women in Mississippi who would not have recourse out after 15 weeks if they decided that they needed to terminate their pregnancy. But what it would really do is actually have national implications, because we see these bans, spring up across states across the country and continue again to further limit access to abortion. Roe is already the floor, as many of my reproductive justice colleagues would say. It is a right in name only in many states where the restrictions against abortion providers, against health centers, against patients themselves, the undue burden of having to visit a clinic multiple times within 72 hours, the burdens of taking off work and traveling, hundreds of miles in order to get access to the only clinic in state in some cases has already put such a significant burden on access. And, what is a right? What is the right if you actually can't access it? So it actually has national implications. And we know that if Roe is overturned in some way, that there will be 25 million women living in states without access to an abortion provider. So this is certainly about the women of Mississippi, but it also has tremendous national implications.
And let me ask once again about that public opinion. 62% in our poll of Americans say they want Roe versus Wade upheld, 24% for outright overturning it. Do you think the justices of the Supreme Court, including the 3 justices appointed by President Trump, will take that widespread support for Roe into consideration, as they did really in 1992 to some degree in Planned Parenthood versus Casey? Do you think they should take it into consideration?
Absolutely. And I think that they should also take into consideration, again, the fact that there is a record majority of Americans who do believe that Roe should be the law of the land. And there's no state, even some of these states with these horrible, horrific restrictions that are creating such burdens for women, for families, that they also believe that Roe should be the law of the land. And unfortunately, because state legislatures have been, again, remade, as well as these courts over the last decade, you now have a vocal minority of people who actually control the levers of power. And so, what's out of whack is the fact that that the majority opinion actually is not able to govern in a way that the majority of Americans would like to see happen.
The Roe versus Wade precedent, almost 50 years old, still under sustained attack, and this one very serious. Alexis McGill-Johnson at Planned Parenthood, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.